the WNBA seems to be struggling to maintain interest. Now, it was the final ingredient for the perfect storm. This injury gave the WNBA the data they need to prove that pretend basketball is 100% reliant on one player.
The WNBA is staring down a ratings freefall as Commissioner Kathy Engelbert watches the league's hard-won momentum collapse like a house of cards in a hurricane. The reason? Its most valuable star, Caitlin Clark, is sidelined. And the brutal truth is impossible to ignore. Without Clark, the WNBA is sliding back into pre-2024 relevance faster than you can say empty arena.
Season. And the craziest thing about this last groin injury with Caitlin Clark is how it's been covered. The day after she had the groin injury, she was listed as day-to-day. And then a couple weeks after that, then she was listed to being out indefinitely. Now, ESPN had August 12th as the circled return date for Caitlin Clark to get back onto the court. And just yesterday, she was listed as a game time decision for today's game against the Dallas Wings. And then after practice yesterday, Coach Stephanie White basically came out and said, like, no, Caitlin Clark hasn't even been practicing. So they changed it from a game time decision to her being out. This has been all over the place, and
the numbers paint a brutal picture. Since Caitlin Clark went down with quad injury on May 24th, national TV viewership for WNBA games has collapsed by 55%. Before her absence, Indiana Fever games featuring Clark averaged 1.81 million viewers. Without her, those same broadcasts have cratered to just 847,000. A 53% plunge that makes one thing painfully clear. The league's popularity hinges almost entirely on a single player.
Last Saturday, the Indiana Felines and the Chicago Bravado played on CBS. How many of you knew that? How many of you guys watched this game? 2 months ago, this matchup would have been the leading story throughout the media. But when you don't have the rivalry, when you don't have the storyline of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, this is just another painfully boring pretend basketball game. Unsurprisingly, the Chicago Bravado got their ass kicked again.
The 2025 WNBA All-Star Game drove the point home. With Clark sidelined by injury, ratings nosedived 36%, falling from a record-shattering 3.44 million viewers in 2024 to just 2.19 million this year. And here's the twist. Even that disappointing 2025 figure still ranks as the second highest all-star audience in league history. A reminder just how abysmal the WNBA's numbers were before Clark changed everything.
35%. WNBA ratings down, All-Star Game 35% than last year. Yet you're telling me that it doesn't have to do with Caitlin. 35%. It really makes it difficult for fans of the WNBA in general and Caitlin Clark, like myself, to have conversations, to join a Discord, just to I don't know, want to just talk up the WNBA in general when you can't even give Caitlin the props that she deserves.
Commissioner Kathy Engelbert is no doubt losing sleep as the league's meteoric rise threatens to become a meteoric collapse. The same executive who once navigated a skeleton staff of 12 through a pandemic-induced identity crisis now faces an even scarier reality. A league utterly exposed for its dependence on a single star.
Man, I miss Caitlin Clark. But all I know for sure about the WNBA is that it had better get Caitlin Clark physically and mentally healthy or risk sliding right back off the national map. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest here. I find it difficult to watch WNBA games without her on the floor. I did watch most of the All-Star Game on Saturday night, mostly just to see how she would react as an unofficial coach. But guess what that game turned into? All the other players tried to be Caitlin Clark. That's what happened.
Engelbert is facing mounting criticism from every direction. Stars like Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Plum have openly blasted the league's officiating inconsistencies, while attendance and TV ratings continue to crater in Clark's absence. Pressure to respond. Engelbert has admitted publicly that consistency is critical and promised improvements. But here's the harsh truth. Better whistles won't fix the WNBA's real problem. Without Caitlin Clark, the audience simply doesn't care.
This league has grown the way it's grown, undoubtedly because of Caitlin. She was out of the All-Star game. The tickets to get into the actual event, half off. People went because it literally got chopped in half. If Angel and Caitlin and all the others grew the WNBA, right, then the viewership should have stayed up right now. During this past weekend, it shouldn't have dropped 35% viewership just because Caitlin Clark wasn't able to play.
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe, because what comes next is almost unbelievable. Behind closed doors, during collective bargaining, WNBA players reportedly rejected a deal that would have quadrupled their minimum salaries, from $66,000 to $250,000, while raising max salaries from $250,000 to $1 million. Phoenix Mercury forward Satis Abali dismissed the offer as a slap in the face. Think about that. Players in a league that bleeds $50 million a year and hasn't turned a profit in nearly 3 decades turned down the chance to become millionaires. They walked away from a 4-fold pay raise, all while their league survives only because the NBA props it up with roughly $15 million in annual subsidies.
I think we can focus on our players. In the union, we got a proposal from the league, which was honestly a slap in the face. And I think we really have to put an emphasis on the players that are in our league right now. But I love to see the league growing. I think, adding these teams in Philly and Detroit, that's how amazing is that the league can grow. But how cool would it also be to have a little bit expansion on the rosters? Let's focus on the teams that have everything set up right now, and maybe focus on the teams also that find excuses continuously to lack investment into their players before we focus on adding more to the grain of people that can't really be sustained.
The delusion is staggering, and one baffled fan summed it up perfectly. So they rejected million-dollar salaries in a league that's losing money? These players genuinely seem to believe they deserve NBA-level pay while competing in a league that drew just 160,000 viewers for a Mercury game without Caitlin Clark. The math doesn't lie. You can't demand premium salaries for a product the public has little interest in watching.
I don't know about this one, ladies. I don't know if this was the wisest decision. I really don't. I think you guys might be overstating your value just a bit. I'm a fan. I love Caitlin Clark. It's a bunch of players in this league that I enjoy watching. I think some of you may be overstating your value, and it is about to lead to a flat out strike and lockout.
The brutal truth the WNBA refuses to face is this. Caitlin Clark isn't just the league's biggest star. She is a league. The numbers are overwhelming. In 2024, Clark was responsible for 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity, from ticket sales and merchandise to television viewership. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith put it bluntly when he called her the cash cow in the box office, warning that her absence triggers catastrophic ratings declines. The evidence backs it up. With Clark, the Fever averaged a record 17,036 fans per game, outdrawing Indiana's own NBA team in the same arena. League-wide merchandise sales exploded 500%, with Clark topping the charts. Games she played accounted for 45% of the WNBA's entire broadcast value. Her debut against the Chicago Sky pulled in 2.7 million viewers. When the same matchup happened without her, tickets could be had for as little as $3.